was to come up with a design for affordable housing. It was trying to push the boundaries of really high quality architecture for social and affordable housing. It was to create a really flexible space that had arts participation but also a residential unit, to create a space where you could connect with the community and the locality, but also connect or create a community with the artists themselves. And then it was to think differently about how you retain artists within the city centre at a time where they're being pushed out because it's unaffordable for artists to live.
The Homes for Artists came from being, if you like, an experiment on finding a new way for artists to be able to pay within this great city of London. You pay 2/3 in the traditional sense through transaction of finance, and then the other third is by time.
The agency of the resident was very important from the beginning, that they have the agency to change their apartments to their needs and preferences. That was in part from conversations with artists about wanting flexible homes, but it's something that we think is relevant to everyone, because everyone experiences life changes. And a lot of apartments are designed around an internal corridor, which leaves the floor plan quite fixed. So we wanted to look at ways of doing that differently. The House for Artists has a very robust fire strategy with escape routes on both sides of the apartment through open-air walkways, and that frees up the internal plan to have no internal corridor. Artists can add or remove walls as they see fit. You can subdivide the living room if you need to, create an extra room, either as a bedroom or a space to work.
Situ Concrete allowed us to do structure, enclosure, acoustics and prevention of spread of flame all in one layer. It also meant we could do a much simpler build, far fewer layers, so thereby you will hopefully increase the quality.
The concrete that you can see is structural, and then the slabs are connected with thermal connectors. So it takes on all these roles, and it means all the other layers could be quite lean, which also helps reduce the embodied carbon. So overall, it exceeds the 2030 RIBA Climate Challenge target for embodied carbon.
I've always, my whole life, lived in places that were just about enough to contain the people in them, and this is something else. It lifts me. I think that feeling of worth that comes from living somewhere that doesn't just about contain you, something really spectacular.
To, not be an artist that's locked away in an ivory tower, but someone who's actually engaged with people's everyday lives and running this kind of community centre for local people is, something beautiful.
There are things that I'm really grateful for because it makes socialising and hanging out with each other easier. It's just nice just to have these open spaces to gather, and we've all chipped in to figuring things out, and the communal aspect of this is probably more than living in a nice place. That's why I want to stay, is because of the relationships with everybody else.
We've had some amazing, really moving feedback. The thing that has struck us most is that people talk about improvements in mental health, and I think it's underestimated how much homes can influence our mental health.
I feel very proud about the building. It's a little piece of architectural sculpture in the middle of Barking Town Centre, but it's still contextual to its locality.